which were completed in March this year without haste. Number 3 is that we have been able to engage our partners in terms of supporting nurses for furthering their education and for attaining more skills and competence and knowledge for them to be equipped for service provision to Kwamboka. Number 4 is that the members who attended this conference have gone away happy because of the quality of scientific papers we had in this conference. We have also gone away with both soft and hard copy of the abstracts which were presented here. And so we want to thank God for the time we had here, and we want to thank the KC team for having organized such a wonderful conference. We also had time to eat together in terms of gala dinner at Magnum, which was pleasurable. We also thank God for that. So we look forward to next year's annual scientific conference, which will happen in Nairobi, because we will move from region to region to be able to have everybody have a share in the programs of KPNF. Thank you so much.
Ase ntunde ya gatatu mu president w'ensi ya Kenya Daktari William Ruto nigakwanira hebunge enene amoneria Senate asibi karo ebyo akora nabarabo mubaso rero Ruto nigo abakabateba buna ensi ya Kenya tereikere birengo biria biganirie akurwa engaki yenyorete obusubure chike kyarenge okwanira abajumbe be Chinsa mechiara kabere Ruto nigo ateba buna serikali nigegendete gwaka ebitambukiro ebitindi asense moyake magendero aseno nyinabo atebanga okomenta agosoko gurukorentwa gwicindagera kurwisiko nakigenderete kurindiaria ensi gagutagendera nibaga obwenete kwerosere cindagera echo buna amaguta sukari omuchere amo nebintu binde binge Ruto ateba buna ereni galingete gokora ensi koba ekerengo kiritangani.
Today the evidence is clear, evidence of promises made and promises kept. In just 3 years, we have built not monuments of words, but foundations of progress. And yet, even with these achievements, I am convinced that this is only but the beginning. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, as I prepared this address, I reflected deeply on the long road we have traveled as a nation. 62 years shaped by struggle, sacrifice, hardship, triumph, and milestones that have affirmed our spirit. The most urgent being imports of food products that cost us 500 billion shillings every year. Just imagine. We are importing maize, wheat, rice, edible oil, to Kenya at a cost of 500 billion shillings every year. As I mentioned earlier, we have already made interventions to reduce imports of maize, sugar, edible oils, rice, wheat, but our efforts are undermined by the natural limits.
Kao kwanira chinga kechibo igoro yemeroberio abwate guchia sabasai aiga sense ya Kenya. Ruto nigo ateba buna umuroberio oye umuya uya chagetie bwasera fund nigo bereko konya abasae mono ase kerengo kigoro nigo atebirenga nero ensemo yoka ya bene yeri kabeso elio ya berigo kabeswa kubwa nsemende onsi kurwense yenyorera obusubule useuru yaye nigo Ruto ateba buna nigara chieko gendera gokonya abasae ga sense ya Kenya wikera endoto yabo yogokora ubunchiria nago igo wekinya gwetera ase
the engine room of innovation and the daily hustle of more than 15 million Kenyans. For decades, access to affordable credit trapped millions in frustration. Without collateral, there was no loans. For the millions blacklisted, every door of opportunity was shut. And when banks refused to take a chance, their dreams simply stalled. As promised, we broke that cycle. The Financial Inclusion Fund, the Hustler Fund, now stands as the largest financial inclusion program since independence, extending over 80 billion shillings to 7 million Kenyans. And those who were blacklisted, the 7 million once blacklisted Kenyans, have since repaired their credits. 3 million small businesses and their owners, previously locked out of the formal finance, are now banked. And 2 million Kenyans are now frequent borrowers. Today, through the Hustler Fund Bridge Facility, 800,000 entrepreneurs are accessing up to 150,000 shillings each without collateral to expand and grow their business.
Abajumbe nigo balindi aliana gutenenia enkwana yo mu president wense ya Kenya ase chinga kyalenge kubakwanira ase baswa gotera tutam chinga kyalenge gokwana ente kyokirera Ruto gutwara omugoko na gwa kaliseko nigo nonye nabo Ruto agendera kurwa ya chenda chiaye nonye magega ya abajumba bokumukwamya ekere arenge gukwana elio bateba kuna niga agenderete gusabwena te guchikoira na ase obisi ase ntunde ya kabiri.
Indicate that achieving Honorable members, estimates indicate that achieving these 4 priorities will require at least 5 trillion. This is undeniably a large sum. Some may see it as unrealistic, even audacious, for a country like ours. But allow me to recall President John F. Kennedy's words in 1962 as he rallied America to reach the moon. And this is what he said, and I quote, "We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. Because that challenge is one we are willing to accept, one we are unwilling to postpone." These 4 projects are
abajumbe nigo baba bakurwa ibirengerero byabo aho kubwatekana nenkwana yo mu president wense ya Kenya Daktari William Ruto yarwa sebunge karenga n'abajumbe anene bari bawo pinsani yogarorokana kugikiria chinkwana icyumurai wense nagatayabura niga umbirie aba na inchi ase ensemo ya noti ya Kenya asikiria gatayabuna amagendero ogobeka oburendi nabo igo okurwa kwendagera nebintu atakwanira ase enkwana yae kurende ase nsemende abajumbe nigo batogie emiroberi omurai bwense nagatayabuna gutwara amaroro y'endoto n'igintu king'encho naigo kibwenete kurigirirwa na kuna gwakwatua ake wika omweyo ebeke goikerana igo abachumba ba momenta chinguru murai bwense nagatayabuna nigo aguche goikerania endoto yae onye kaguchiko eburi bagarioka agoikerania amaganiria yuri bagarioko amererwa
national impact.
Kenya, drought is looming in northern Kenya. He did not address himself to drought. He talked of a lot of economic progress, investor confidence, Kenya being ranked as the 6th economy in Africa, fiscal discipline. But the real concerns for Kenyans today is liquidity.
Nothing substantial on livestock. Actually, the figures he gave are not figures we really feel they're true. He talked of 2.5 million. We left while he was speaking in protest because we feel we have been left out in the presidential speech and the government achievement.
The one road which is being worked on from Modogash, from
segments
segments, and that road has been there for every president talked about it for 60 years. If you come and visit where I come from, Wajir, there is no road.
And another observation I would like to make in the president's speech is, I mean, it's good to dream, and some of the models the president was talking about have worked elsewhere. And it's fantastic that the president has a vision to take Kenya to a first world status.
And they are specified next year. It doesn't mean that those regions that have not been mentioned today in the presidential address have not been factored. It was just among the few at this particular moment. The issue of corruption leads from where we are today. You've seen how the Ministry of Health dealt with the issues of fraud cases of NHIF, SHA, the ones who were dealing with that. The Ministry of Health also came about with the guys who are having ghost schools and ghost students. So these issues were curbing corruption matters.
At the end, when he was about to close, he mentioned the source of funding. And that's very important. If you are planning, you can plan on what you want to do, after which you must clothe it with how I'm going to fund it.
Giving us a very clear vision that we can attain as a country this much in 10 years. That many Kenyans have always tended to talk about promises is not the truth. He is giving us a very clear vision. He is seeing how this country can be in 10
Mwaziri bubolendi wemeke uchuma murukamani gobona rurege kurege tindi gochya sabasali bali bagusara bana chiyaruka chige chiruse chibune serikali tego chikubayera no nyangake igo chikubaye mukirige tambukero kubwateka no kubuna lichi kuri abetari wetigwa iguro yogosara bana chiyaruka koma mamincha aiga sense ya Kenya kibichumba ni kwate bire buna bana chiyaruka ni gobona takolendwa abayegwetanga kurwa samagana GBC chinga kechiga chia erusa elio gotiga gosagwa muchando ojera best virus ni gobereke gochekana na iga sense ya Kenya igento waziri ya tebringa serikali nigera sichimbero okora ebisa bingabuneno.
Mambo ya FGM, it is only in Marakwet East. So county commissioner yuko hapa. We have our new deputy county commissioner ambaye ni DC wetu wa Marakwet East amekuja. Tunataka nichukue nafasi kama mjumbe wa area nikukaribishe. Na waziri sababu sasa yeye is the minister of interior na anaelewa na anatoka sehemu hii. Hatutaki kusikia maneno ya FGM kwa Marakwet East. Na waziri ule mtu akipatikana ama mama akipatikana hapa na maneno ya FGM, hata kama ni shangazi yako, sababu mimi na wewe tuko na relatives hapa, waambia county commissioner awaweke cell wote. Maneno ya FGM kuna sheria.
Hakuna FGM itaendelea hapa. Hakuna kukata msichana yoyote kwa Embobuti na kwa Marakwet East. Disemba inakuja, mama mwenye anashika kisu na mzazi mwenye anashika mtoto yake kupeleka chondoni msichana ati anaenda kukatwa, huyo mama atashikwa, ule mama anakata yeye atashikwa na ataenda kupelekwa kotini na tupeleke yeye sel huko na tupeleke jela, ataenda kukula maharagwe akijifunza tabia mzuri.
Obochelu negento kengencho kebwanarata kuligirira kuna mwanya bantu kerali tuko na anene kurwa ase chinka mulikyo botamba se wizara yobo chenwa iga sense ya Kenya Meri Muthoni ni kwatebirenga ogo echwara kurwa ase chinka na kukwelera marwira manga gwateka aiga sense bono Muthoni ni kabere kagusaba abana inchi koba maiso anene ase chinka chiabo na koroisho bochenu kera chinga kiri gwetanga kurwa asa marwire buna aliyo kominyoka na boigo ayo korento bokongu ayagwateka asugutumeka amache ayaramabe nigo nonye nabo ateba une serikali nigera sichimbiro gochikokore mechando eri ya marwire egwateka ase aba harwire nene amarwaire buna malaria hamo na yanda mange.
The president inaugurated.
Funding of the primary health care fund is non-negotiable. Again, the emergency and chronic illness fund is equally non-negotiable, and it is done through the exchequer. It would be paramount that while you are working in Nairobi, nobody calls you from your village to tell you to give you money for registration at a facility. It should be free. It is free. And therefore, the government has a commitment to keep putting in money for primary health care funds.
Abo wakiri bonsi bali bakulire amasomo litukulira nigo baba gutianigwa ase ekeria ke gatebekana buna nigo uchigo chake mirimo limolioka kolengana nabateneri be ensemeyo ya abo wakiri yogateba buna bone mirimo no guchikwa kwa bene guchasa wakiri akuno goikerania nabo igo kweneke buna obokorri bonsi ase bigambiro babiro bogoikerana iga sense ya Kenya nige gwatumo chando mone bukulemero kwa wakiri kulende bali ababa bagwetigwa nigo barachieko bagochaka okore mirimo limolioka ase chinsemo eri kugusuya ebina ebigenderete gokina kirarituko.
Both on my behalf and on behalf of the Senior Council Bar. The Senior Council Bar is not a separate bar from the Law Society, the one you have joined. So I'm not here in competition with the Law Society to address you. I'm telling you that we are simply, as stated, the seniors in the same profession, in the same bar, and who simply and are privileged to have been recognized for our mastery of jurisprudence, our impeccable integrity and ethical rectitude, leadership within the profession or past leadership within the profession and in the administration of justice, and also, and I say this for those of you who will join public service, for the service that we rendered when we were in public service. So, important. It is not a route or a place you will get to only by being in private practice, but in every aspect in
President wense ya Tanzania Samia Suluhu bano niko achorire kamiti yera chieko bage kurigeria chiburaburu chiabete chikwane kiwanichi sakasaginga kyobo chori bwa kolekana senseri ya Tanzania kolengana Suluhu liko atebrenge kamiti yini yuchu cha kimire muri yoka iri kwane kebunango sonsolero bokongu obagenda takwane kiwa sense yini chiburaburu chianegatigwa munabasaye nonyana bo ayaniga achira matukoma kaigo maiga yo muwaziri oteneta waziri wonse iga sense ya Kenya Musalia Mudavadi kukwana buna abakenya boka bawochereire wesibara sechera sinsiri ya Tanzania mbabire igento kegenda takokano mono amuna abakenya bandu ameta sinsiyo Suluhu ni gwatebrenga niga guchiwikera lichibwe ryo konya abantu bense ya Tanzania kurwa sobo kongu ogwechibura burota na kwenekirwa kurwense yenyorera obusubule.
Kilichotokea hakikutarajiwa kitokee ndani ya nchi yetu kwa sababu ya historia tulionayo ya usalama na utulivu wa kisiasa ndani ya nchi. Hata kama kuna vipindi ambavyo hatuna usalama wa kisiasa, lakini haikufikia kiasi hichi kilichofikia. Role bali ya vyama vya siasa vilivyoingia kwenye huo mgogoro, NGO zetu za ndani na za nje. Tunaambiwa kwamba vijana wale walioingia kudai haki walilipwa fedha kwanza ndio wakaingia barabarani, na wengi wao waliingia barabarani kuendana na hizo fedha walizo.
Wikiraba no murigereria gwa television ya Amazing Voice of Victory no toko yabunera mangana itu Amayia unatwatia ko yasangire kora chinsemo aimena isiko yarongo rwa gusi kurase studio akabero yene kebuna chibichana maliyungu wikirara century ya bene akorokwanga Robin Siangwe kora muroke speaker tagukana chiri trendaga simongana kandi iri burigereria ubuya yenda kubwate chi program chiri chitikarete korwa sigeta seni ekiga wikanane gakiende kara trombrane asamangana ande Amayia ayitura chigo gusarurira.